Good day. My name is Rashid Khaled from Eden Grace Academy International, and the title of my piece is The Bible's Original Love Triangle, Jacob, Leah, and Rachel. Have you ever been in a complicated situation in your life? Have you already experienced betrayal by your most trusted person? Or have you been in a situation when you're willing to do everything just for love? I want to tell you a story that was so complicated, and yet God used your life greatly for His greater glory. Tricked by his father-in-law into marrying his true love sister, Jacob waited 14 years before he could be with Rachel. After stealing his older brother's inheritance, Jacob feared his brother's wrath and fled to Haran. One night, he dreamed of a ladder going up to heaven. At the top stood God, reaffirming his covenant with Abraham that now passed to Jacob. The land on which you lie, I will give to you and to your offsprings. Jacob built an altar and called it Bethel, which means the house of God. Soon after his arrival at Haran, Jacob fell in love with the beautiful and lovely Rachel, daughter of his cousin Laban. Laban warmly welcomed him to the family, but asked for a steep price for Rachel's hand in marriage. Jacob would first have to work for a shepherd for 7 years, tending to Laban's flocks. The annual wage for a shepherd during the Bronze Age was about 10 shekels. Hence, 7 years of labor was a stiff demand. Jacob, a fugitive from Esau, was in no position to bargain. After the 7 years were fulfilled, at last Jacob spent his wedding night, only to discover at dawn that wasn't Rachel, but her older sister Leah, whom Laban had delivered to his tent. Laban explained that according to the tribal custom, the eldest sister must be married first. If Jacob wanted to marry Rachel as well, he would owe Laban another 7 years of labor. In time, Jacob was able to acquire a flock of sheep, camels, and goats of his own. But tensions within the clan, particularly between Jacob and Laban's sons, compelled Jacob to return to Canaan with his wives and handmaidens, who now served as his concubines. By this time, these women had borne him 11 sons and a daughter. While traveling south, close to the Yabok River, Jacob came upon a stranger who challenged him to a struggle. The two wrestled all night. The word wrestle, or Yebek, is another of Genesis' wordplays, using Jacob's name Yaakov and that of the river Yabok. At long last, a stranger, an angel of the Lord, or perhaps God himself, relented and declared that Jacob would be known as Israel, or he that prevails with God. Just as Jacob had struggled with the Lord, so too would the nation of Israel, who wrestled for centuries with their obedience to the Lord. So then, Jacob called the place Peniel, or God's face, saying, I have seen God face to face. It is really amazing to see God face to face. Meanwhile, the unloved Leah bore 7 of Jacob's children, 6 sons, namely Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and a daughter Dinah. While Jacob's concubine Bilhah gave birth to Dan and Naphtali, while another slave Zilpah gave him Gad and Asher. Jacob's overt favoritism toward Rachel has prompted God to keep Rachel's womb closed. But Rachel's love was ultimately redeemed when she gave birth to a boy named Joseph, Jacob's favorite. Together with the sons of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim, these 12 men will become the 12 forefathers of the tribes of Israel, sealing God's covenant. The story of Jacob, Leah, and Rachel is filled with much difficulty, and yet God used His people greatly to impact history and to remind us that life is full of conflict, just like what is happening around us now. Global warming, climate changes, rumors of wars, disasters there, calamities here, broth, famine, or family concerns. And oh, this global pandemic that affected millions of lives. Anyways, God will always be in control of every situation that we've experienced. And their 12 sons were the leaders of the 12 tribes that became the nation of Israel. Through their families, God blessed the entire world as Jesus was born from the tribe of Judah, who offers salvation to me